Okay, Pirates on the Bridge. Been busy with videos today, but lots of downloads have been coming. It's still the morning, so I'm going to keep chucking them out and see what you think. This is a little talk through the plastic modulus model for the bearing, the principal axis. So I've modified this. This is the bearing. All you need to know is here, and then I've sectioned it out. In terms of provenance, Leve has given us proof of absolute motion in AB5. Trust me, he's proven it with matrix calculus that exists. That's what he means in AB5. And so it's a dimensional analysis that you get the x-axis of the spin force looks like this. It's fatter at the ends because it's based on an infinite diameter circle. So Cartesian geometry allows me to assume that's a straight line with a 90 degrees, but using the new vector axis theory, we bring that into the principal axis, and we can see how can you have free rotation 360 degree. So the x-axis looks like this, and so that y, you can use y, that works, but if you're into quantum scale, then you need to be down here with a function of x. And what you notice is that this axis, as we've proven, is the vector axis is here. The y-axis is the motion that was happening here. So provenance. So this is constructed from a real entity, from real things. This is oil, and this is water. Top and bottom. Water on oil, where it doesn't like to be. Because it's that way up, it creates a film across the center of the yin-yang shape. So we're just simply building up from our original simple pattern from Leve, AB14, absolute motion, to the extension to 6 cases, to the yin-yang shape two-dimensionally, to understanding it in terms of the 3-axis theorem and the vector axis, taking that into a real model of real things that actually exist. So oil, water, film on top, reaction between oil and water creates a film, yeah, with all the colors in it, refraction. The water on top of the ice moves because it's now slippery. It is any motion that happens on this fixed body will cause a rotation of the water above it. Euler proves, through you taking conservation of angular momentum into the center here, that if you have infinitesimal change on the fixed body, you get one rotation at the center, and this is showing how that works. So you get to the center, you end up with a vector axis and angular momentum. So we just remove that and we say that any rotation of this, any infinitesimal change of that vector axis results in a rotation. And you can see why it does, because it's not on the x-axis. It's tilted from it. I showed that here. Yeah, it's tilted from it. And so that the y-axis is now not the x-axis, it's off of it. The x-plane, the rotation of this film surface now, so now we can see the yin-yang is an oil film, is anchored there and there, so it shares an axle with the x-axis at that point, but it's rotating freely from it. But the center of the x-plane is the center of the z-plane is the center of the x-axis, but it's not the center of the y-axis, it's offset. So oil, ice. It draws as it moves around, as the water moves around, it draws the film up. It creates pressure on the film. As this rotates, it creates a vortex, okay, in the water. As it does that, it's going to create this shape. It draws the film up into this shape, dragging it over to here. If you want to move this to ice now, because we're down into the 0 temperatures, you can see this is a glacial force, that this shape has formed from water inside the glacier, creating oil with a shape up here. And this is plastic. It's made from plastic, a membrane material. here. It's an actual thing. When it gets to this point, this is the cross section. When it gets to this point, it becomes pure light. So the film contains light. This is a vacuum underneath, meters minus cubed, because it's been drawn up. There's a dimensional divide. This is water, this is oil. So it's only drawn the film up, and it's carried the colours with it. All the colours go into a single beam of light, which is suspended here. And this is the drop of water that exists. This drop of water floats in a field, electromagnetic field. There's the magnetic switch. There's the magnetic field. There's the electric field. In ice, it creates a void. It can't touch the oil, but it can just move through it like it's not there, because it's just a field. The force of the rotation creates an equal vortex here, so that vacuum is now created here as a positive pressure, and that positive pressure is experienced there, creating uplift. So that this uplift is the gravity of this object. Yeah, so that it can weigh nothing and rotate freely because its mass and its rotation aspect is offset from where it actually occurs. So that you can see how unstable this is. There's the Y plane of the Z axis. Any nudge on that, and this just does a rotation, and it ends up back where it was. So a system that will keep running, provided you just keep nudging that. Yeah, Leve proves with the symbol of that infinitesimal change on that axis results in one rotation of this body. How does that then express itself in terms of the universe? It's collected by the tesseract. So that this action occurs inside a tesseract, a cube with in each corner with 8 corners. In those 8 corners are the black hole connections of the twisted light. So the light has gone through all these processes to end up right in the center now. And of course the center is the universal plane because of the spin of the universe. It picks right on the center, the fixed point, and that the light connects the center to the outside. So that the outside of the universe is the center of the inside because it's connected by these twisted lights. These are black holes. Planets orbit around them from what it looks like. So the distortion of our view of our solar system comes from in here. We're seeing this looking out, but all this action has gone on and we've ignored it because we assume rest mass. So a real model made of real things based on a real document that's really lodged in engineering, that's really referenced by an existing design practice in the 1942 tables. That all of concrete design practice stands on those tables, which is Leve, which is absolute motion. But science chooses not to show us that information because it exposes their lies. When we realize that science is actually run by entities that are ourselves from the future, controlling the proteins who are currently running science, you can forgive us. Forgive the proteins who are doing this work the moment that they realize they've been fooled. Once we have all the fools on our side, then we'll see the liars and we can deal with them accordingly. But the message is always the same. Forgiveness, 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 for I am love. Welcome to New Earth.